Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be doing another top 10 video, and this is going to be 10 of the scariest scenes in non-horror movies. So something a little bit different today. It's not often I get to talk about non-horror movies on this channel, but it's still sort of horror if you get me. Now, some of you may consider some of the movies on this list horror, although none of them are quite there for me. In fact, most of them are not horror at all. But I just thought of 10 here that really got to me when I weren't quite expecting, and that's kind of the beauty of these scenes. You're just watching something like a family film, like that might be on this list, or an action movie, and something comes out of nowhere and just scares you a little bit there. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little top 10. Don't forget to leave your top 10 horror movie or non-horror movie horror scenes down below, or even if you just want to pick out one or two, I would love to hear your thoughts, because I came up with so many, but I could only narrow it down to 10 there. And don't forget, if you want more top 10s, guys, there'll be a playlist down below of all the top 10s I've done on this channel before. So let's just get into it now. Number 10. Number 10 is going to be Matilda. Now, this is a movie that is very tame, of course. It's a family-friendly movie. But as a kid, this scene kind of got to me, and it is the scene where Matilda has to go and retrieve something for Miss Honey out of Miss Trunchbull's house that Miss Trunchbull's kind of taken from Miss Honey, or Miss Honey's father, I believe it was, and it was not rightfully hers. Now, I can't quite remember what Matilda has to go and retrieve here. I'm really sorry about that. But it's been a while since I watched this movie. But when the Trunchbull returns to the house, Matilda has kind of got to hide. And the Trunchbull notices that one of the chocolates has been missing because Matilda takes one. And she sort of smells the chocolate box and knows somebody is in the house. And she is on an absolute warpath to find whoever is in this house. And you know that Matilda is probably going to be turned into mincemeat, because the Trunchbull has really not taken a liking to Matilda since she started this school at all. She just does not like this kid. And Miss Honey is the only shining light in Matilda's life. So Matilda really felt like she had to go here to this house and do a favour for Miss Honey. But the scenes, man, where the Trunchbull, it's a great performance, by the way, from Pam Ferris. Absolutely wonderful. She is such a sinister headmistress in this movie.
Who's in my house?
She's jumping over stair banisters from the first floor to the ground. She just shouts, "Cheerio!" She jumps down there. And there's another moment where the camera zooms into her face and she says, "Some rats are going to die today." I just think it's a very, hard-hitting scene for such a kid, such a child-friendly movie there. And it's just kind of, the dark moment in the film, but it kind of got to me as a kid. I really wanted Matilda to get away because she's such a likable character, and the Trunchbull is just a horrible person. But yeah, thankfully she does. So yeah, in number 10, 10th place there is the house scene from Matilda. Coming in 9th place is another family-friendly movie, and that is Chitty, Chitty, Bang, Bang. And I am, of course, talking about the child catcher scene, played by Robert Helpman, who is a really scary character in this movie. And I think a lot of people might have this in their list in the comments down below, or if you just go and look at another top 10 on YouTube, you're probably likely to find this one in there. Now, I put it a bit lower on the list because I've only ever seen this movie once. It was always on TV as a kid. I watched snippets here and there, but I can only ever remember sitting down and watching the movie once in its full entirety. But I do remember this scene. It sticks out like a sore thumb, where these kids, it's like the definition of don't take candy or sweets from a stranger now, isn't it? Where these kids are kind of just playing, and this child catcher is running around the village looking for them, the main two kid characters of the movie, and he says he's got chocolate and lollipops and everything. Come and get into his little car there. Kind of looks like an ice cream van with a horse and carriage. It's kind of a horse and carriage, but it kind of looks like a little sweet shop on wheels. And he gets them in there, and lo and behold, the sheet pulls down off this horse and carriage, and it is like a cage where these two kids are locked in, and he gets away and just takes them out of the village, basically. And the two main characters, Dick Van Dyke's character, I forgot the other one's name, I'm really sorry, kind of run after them, but they are gone in the distance. They have been kidnapped by this sinister-looking child catcher. He kind of looks like a witch, got like the prosthetic nose and everything, but Robert Helpman is terrifying as this character. So yeah, I had to put that one in there at number 9. Next up is going to be the T-Rex scene from Jurassic Park. Now, a lot of people will probably say the Velociraptor scene is more scary in the kitchen and stuff. But for me, it's this one. This is the one that kind of got to me as a kid. There's another scene in this movie that's quite gnarly with the hand that's been severed and stuff. But I consider Jurassic Park more of an action movie. I know a lot of people may consider this horror. Not quite for me there, but this scene really got to me as a kid, where the T-Rex escapes and sort of has our characters as sitting ducks there. It all starts with the goat being lowered into the T-Rex cage, and the child characters are kind of concerned what's going to happen to the goat, and we just see like the bushes rustling and everything, lots of dinosaur noises happening, and sort of the goat has been eaten there. And that's kind of a little bit of a build-up as to what's to come, and these characters already know that there's a T-Rex in the park because John Hammond told them. So there's a lot of build up to seeing this actual dinosaur itself. But I don't think the characters in this movie wanted to see the T-Rex in this circumstance, and unfortunately for them, it does actually happen, where the T-Rex escapes past the electric wires and everything, has our characters as sitting ducks by turning over the car, and Sam Neill's character is kind of saying to everyone, just stay still, because the T-Rex will sense you if you move. But that must be a really hard thing to do in that moment, because you're just panicking that this giant dinosaur, that giant predator is right in front of you, ready to gobble you up if you move. And unfortunately, that guy who runs on the toilet does in fact find this out. And that's the bit that kind of always got to me there, where the T-Rex just sort of opens its mouth and takes him off the toilet and eats him in one go. That used to scare the shit out of me, that bit. But it's really funny. Jeff Goldblum has got like a little bit of comedy thrown in there, where once he runs to the toilet, he says, you gotta go. That bit was kind of like comedy in that scene. But yeah, T-Rex looked absolutely awesome, especially back then in 1993. Steven Spielberg done wonders with how he made these dinosaurs move and stuff in this movie. But that scene, man, what a scene that is in Jurassic Park. But yeah, one that quite got to me, especially as a kid. So that is the T-Rex scene in Jurassic Park. Next up, we do have the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. And we do have this character, the young girl, Ophelia, who has to go down there to retrieve something. Now, it's been a long time since I watched Pan's Labyrinth, I must admit. Can't quite remember what she is going down there to retrieve. I've only seen the movie a couple of times. But this scene just sticks out, and one that is the most memorable. But if you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, I highly recommend it. It's a great movie all around. But this scene, man, wow, it really threw me off. So she is basically told not to touch anything on the feast table where the Pale Man is sitting. And he's a very still character, this like creature, this pale looking guy with no eyes. And these fairies are there as sort of guiding Ophelia, but they tell her not to touch anything on the table. And she does. She eats a few grapes and stuff, I think. And the Pale Man moves, and his eyes are actually on his hands there. And that's how he walks around. And it's just so creepy to see him walking around with these eyes on his hands. And he grabs the fairies and just bites their heads off and stuff. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is such a dark fantasy film. And Ophelia is trying to escape, and he's walking after her, and sort of, he can't really move that much. It's like because he's just got up after all these years, but he's determined to get it. And it's just such a high, tense scene. So yeah, for me, the look of him and everything is so creepy. So yeah, such a cool creature design, and one that is put in a very scary moment. And basically a Spanish type war movie, sort of adventure film. But yeah, this scene always stuck out. So that is the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. Next up is going to be the Mystery Man from Lost Highway from David Lynch. Yes, David Lynch, such a great director. If you haven't seen Lost Highway, guys, highly recommend it. But a lot of people do consider this to be a horror movie as well. But this happens about in the middle of the film. And in that first half of the movie, there's a lot of creepy shit happening. The second half of the movie is another story. I won't go into detail with that. But the first half sees Bill Pullman's character and his wife. They are sort of getting spied on, and they know about it. So people are basically posting them VHS tapes. And when they put the VHS in the player, they are seeing a certain person film them, where, you know, just watching them basically and spying on them and sending them the videotapes. Now that is a fucking sinister, creepy concept in itself. But when we get to this party scene where Bill Pullman and his wife are, this guy, played by Robert Blake, who's just titled the Mystery Man, walks up to Bill Pullman's character and says, "We've met before." And he's got this real creepy, sinister smile on his face where he just doesn't stop smiling, but it's kind of a smile where he is intending for something bad to happen to Bill Pullman's character. You can see it behind the eyes. He's got like a really pale skin and he just looks so scary. And he basically says to Bill Pullman, "We've met before." Bill Pullman hasn't got any idea what he's talking about. And he says, "I've been at your house, haven't I?" And Bill Pullman's like, "I've never met you, man. I don't know what you're talking about." And then the mystery guy says, "I'm there now." And Bill Pullman's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He goes, "Phone me. Phone your house." Bill Pullman phones the house and he answers, even though he's standing right in front of him. It's just an eerie scene that kind of gets to me. It just doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. So yeah, this scene for me kind of just made me sit back and go, what the hell is going on in this movie? So yeah, that scene for me, Robert Blake just plays this guy brilliantly. Not in the movie for too long. He's only got a few scenes, but he's memorable, put it that way. So yeah, this scene for me has to be in here. Just one of them that made my skin crawl. So that is the Mystery Man from Lost Highway. Next up is going to be Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, where Bilbo tries to grab the ring back. Now, this is only a small moment. It's not really a full scene or anything, but this moment, man, it just makes you jump. for a movie that is intended for adults, but it's family friendly as well. This scene always gets to me. Every time I watch it, I kind of forget it's about to happen, and it just comes out of nowhere, where Bilbo has to give the ring back to Gandalf. And he the darkness inside him that wants that ring kind of just tries to snatch it back for 1 minute, but his face just turns into this demonic looking thing for just a couple of seconds there, and you just jump out of your skin. It's kind of like the movie Jaws, that jump scene where he's scuba diving and stuff. Just comes out of nowhere, really. That's what it felt like here. And yeah, I always just remember like Bilbo's face just changing instantaneously, and you just sit back and go, holy shit. But it just shows the power of this ring and the hold it gets on people and how much pull it has. Kind of how we find out with Gollum's character, of course. How did I forget his name there? Later on in, as that processes over the 3 films. But yeah, I had to put this one in there. It just made me jump, and it has made me jump a few times that I've watched it now. Next up, we have Dead Man's Shoes, and this is where the gangsters of this movie are sort of just messing around in the flat. Smoking, taking drugs and drinking and stuff. But something has happened a few scenes beforehand where they think a character is coming to sort of get revenge on them, and that is, of course, the concept of the movie. So Paddy Considine is coming to get these characters who kind of bullied his brother while he was away on tour in Iraq or whatever. And he's back from the army now, and he sort of wants to get revenge on them for bullying his brother. And there's an opening scene in this movie where he puts one of these characters on edge, and this character is this gangster guy is kind of just wary about it. He's telling his friends that he's back and stuff, and we need to watch our backs. But that same character goes down the stairs in these flats. He goes, "I've had enough, I'm wasted, I'm going home." And as he goes down the stairs, Paddy Considine's character is waiting there with the gas mask on. And he just looks at this character and instantly sobers up. You can tell that this guy is instantly sober. He's took notice. But it's the bang on the door that Paddy Considine does to scare the shit out of him. And when Paddy Considine banged that glass and tried to rag the door up, pull the door open, I jumped out my skin, man. And it's just such a scary scene. And this gangster guy, I forgot the guy's name in the movie. I've seen it so many times as well. I should know that. Runs up the stairs in absolute sheer terror and panic, and you just cannot blame the guy. So for me, this is a scary scene. in an absolutely awesome movie. One of the greatest movies I've ever seen. If you haven't not seen Dead Man's Shoes, guys, get on it. It's such a great revenge thriller. But there's so many impactful moments in the movie. The opening scene, like I was talking about, and other scenes later on, you just can't take your eyes off the film. But this moment scared the shit out of me, and scared the shit out of the gangster character in the film as well. That is the sort of gas mask scene, I suppose, in Dead Man's Shoes. Number 3 is going to be Emil's death in Robocop. Now, this is my favourite movie of all time. If you did not know, guys, it's the movie I've watched more times than anything, and it's just got so much rewatchability for me. I love this movie. But a little story behind this one is when I was like 7 years old or something, my dad taped this for me on ITV, and I used to watch it all the time. And it was, I didn't know this at the time. I was watching the heavily cut version. I think it actually came free with the Arrow Blu-ray. You can watch that heavily cut version. You will not believe how heavily cut this movie is. It could pass for a PG film. Like, swear words in the movie are changed. Like, arsehole is replaced by airhead at one point. That's how toned down the movie is.
You are gonna be a bad motherfucker. You are gonna be a bad mother crusher.
Must be about 40 minutes long or something. But I did not know that, and I used to just love watching Robocop. And one day my tape got damaged, and my friend Terry in work lent me the original VHS tape, uncut, fully uncut, and I did not know what I was getting into. I went home and watched it, and about halfway through the film, I was like, holy shit, this is like a brand new experience. It's one of my favourite movie watching moments of my life, because I just felt like I was experiencing my favourite film, but it had been blown up into this whole other thing. And I couldn't quite believe I had been watching the cut version all my life. I didn't even know. And when that scene where Emil drives towards Robocop, and Robocop dodges out the way, and the acid comes through the van, I used to just see Emil roll out the van, and that was it. But when he gets up and his skin is melting, and he's, it's all gone down his throat and everything, I jumped out my skin. I ran down the stairs. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? I could not believe that this scene was in this movie, and I had never seen it before. I eventually plucked up the courage to watch it again, and it scared the shit out of me when he ran up to the other guy, Leon, and just put his hands on him and was like, help me! I was like, holy shit, this is terrifying!
Help me! Don't touch me, man!
Great makeup, great makeup design by the effects team and everything. You know, it really did look real. All this skin hanging off and stuff, and I was just like, all I could think about at the time was, that would be so painful. But yeah, he is eventually squished into bits by Clarence Bodiger's car. But the first time I see that, man, scared the absolute shit out of me. That is why it's so high on this list. But yeah, such an awesome scene, Emil's death. Oh, man, he's so bad in that movie. Like, such a horrible character. But even I feel bad for him when that happens. It's because no one deserves that. So that is Emil's death in Robocop. Coming in second place, guys, is going to be something that feels very real, and that is the blast scene from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yes, the movie kind of makes it out that this could actually happen one day, where AI takes over the world, and I just think, oh yeah, whatever, but yes, AI is basically taking over now, isn't it? But even at the time, it made it feel like it could actually happen one day. And this is basically where the machines on August 29th, 1997, take over and Skynet becomes aware, basically. And the whole of LA is just engulfed in flames. Now, this is basically Sarah Connor's premonition dream sort of thing that she's been told by Kyle Reese that is going to happen. And she fully believes it because a Terminator actually came after it in the first movie. And she sees this in a dream, and she is basically looking at her and her future self and John Connor, her future son, at this park, and the whole of LA just is hit by the blast, and cars are just sort of ripped from the roofs of cars, and buses are coming off, buildings are falling down, people are just melting to bits, and you start to see like kids and mothers in this park just sort of disintegrate and melt and put into flames. And she sees her future self and her John Connor, you know, just melting there, you know, as the flames engulf them. And it's such a horrible scene to watch. And Sarah herself is grabbing onto the railings and she sort of explodes into pieces, but her skeleton is still hanging onto the railing there. And then she wakes up and it was all a dream. And that's when she kind of goes after Miles Dyson to stop him once and for all. But that scene, man, is just so harrowing that a nuclear blast, if it happened, could probably play out like that. That could happen, I suppose. So yeah, scary scene. That is very, very real. Now, and yeah, it just always got to me, that scene. It really did. It's such an upsetting scene, but one that really just hits you in the feels and sort of makes you think that, you know, we've got to be careful. So that is the blast scene in Terminator 2. Number one, though, is going to be another David Lynch movie, and that is the Winky scene from Mullholland Drive. Now, again, I've only seen this movie once, guys, but this scene is just one of the most memorable scenes I've ever seen in a movie. We sort of cut from the story to this guy talking to I think he's like an FBI agent in this Winky's restaurant. And he's basically explaining to him that he's having all these nightmares and they just feel so real. But all these nightmares he's having are happening in this Winky's restaurant. This one at Winky's restaurant that he's brought this FBI agent to. And the FBI agent was asking him what's happening and stuff. And basically, this guy says, there's a guy who lives behind this Winky's restaurant. And he's the most sinister looking thing I've ever seen. He's the creepiest looking thing I've ever seen. He is terrifying. And he controls my dreams. And he is basically controlling everything that is happening in my dream. And every time I see him, it just scares the shit out of me. And you're just like, okay, where's this going? And then the FBI agent and him go outside and walk towards the back of this Winky's. And the way David Lynch films this is genius. It takes such a long time for these two characters to get behind this Winky's restaurant. They are walking and walking and walking. The camera keeps flicking back and forth between them two and what's in front of them. And as we get closer and closer, the tension just ramps up so much. And I remember watching this in the house alone going, what the fuck is going to happen here? And then it happens. And I jumped out my friggin' skin. Man, it scared the absolute shit out of me. And if I was going to watch it now, I can only imagine being full of tension once again, even though I know what's coming. It's such a terrifying moment. It's a jump scene done to absolute perfection from David Lynch. Absolute perfection. And I wish he would have done a lot of horror movies, because I bet you that guy could really get some scares on the camera there. But yeah, for me, number one is the Winky's restaurant scene from Mullholland Drive. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this top 10. Don't forget to leave your scary scenes and non-horror down below. Maybe I should do a scary scenes in horror movies. 10 of my scariest horror movie scenes. Would you guys like to see that? Please do let me know. Don't forget there's more top 10 down below as well. If horror is your sort of thing, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It really helped me out. Thanks so much guys. You take care and I'll see you all in the next video.